So I'm down here in the Pier area, the Pier region of Bangor town. I refuse to call it a city. Technically though, it is a city. But if I just take a walk around it, it's not a city. It's not for me to call it a city. But I had a couple of shoots this week. Did some, what the fuck did I do? Oh, I did some food stuff in Haptic this week, which was good fun. And then did a really intensely long day yesterday with Ben in the gym. That was a bit mad. Finished at like 10 p.m. or something like that. And then we went for chicken, 10 o'clock chicken. Didn't eat properly the whole day. And then we hit 10 o'clock chicken. So I decided today I would just come for a little walk about, I think. Clear my head, take a little dander about, watch this man on this boat go cruising past, and maybe take the camera, take a few photographs down at the pier. Why the pier though? That's the question. Well, for a number of reasons. One, because it's super close to where I live and like a very easily accessible place to go to, because I can just walk to it, you know, and I don't have to worry really. I've also spent a hell of a lot. Oh, Ben, Kobe. Oh fuck, didn't even go close. That had gone in though, elite. Would have been elite. Directly into the trash can. So, when I think about like my photography stuff, it started down here. Well, no, not all of it, I guess. I've always taken photographs from riding bikes, and sometimes I say skateboarding, but all I really achieved skateboarding was a broken arm. So riding bikes is where all my photography started. And when I was in tech, college, university, I used to come down here and take photographs. And that was whenever I had to do my, what would they be? Projects, assignments, not a dissertation because we're shooting actual photographs. I used to come down here and shoot photos in around this area, not for any particular reason, other than just this is where we were. How's it going, guys?
Hello. How you doing?
Good, good. So we were up in the tech, which was probably up that direction, tech college, and I go up these steps. You can see what the crack is. I used to. Where did I go? Like, when I would go from the tech, I would come up to shoot photographs with the people I was in my class with, I guess is the easiest way to say it. But it was weird because it felt like a chore back then. Like, I used to shoot, and this was back like film photography days, 35mm film cameras and a couple of bits and pieces. And I was shooting loads of BMX stuff back then, on film, by the way, which is, it didn't feel like an achievement back then, it was just photography. Now when I think back to that, and I think how much film I went through, and the sheer tomfuckery involved in shooting photos on film, it feels like an achievement now, especially because I bought film and developing stuff and I haven't done anything with it. But yeah, anyway, so it used to come down here and this felt like a real chore doing it, because you'd be doing these projects in the photography class and then they would go, right, you need to go down and everyone needs to shoot photographs over the next 2 weeks for this project around lines, or, you know, like parallel lines maybe, or converging lines, or patterns, or textures, or... See on this boat, look at these boys. Been considering a boat recently, which is a mad idea. Genuinely, Pamela and I were on Amazon, not Amazon, I mean, can you buy a boat on Amazon? I don't know, but we were on the internet looking at boats, like try to get a vibe of like what it would cost to get a boat, just to fuck around in. But we'd be given these different tasks, and you'd have to go down and shoot, like learning about patterns or learning about texture, whatever the heck that thing was. And it was weird because I used to, not that I hated it, but it just felt like a chore was really the only way to explain it. And whenever we came down to do these things, there'd be like 2 or 3 of us coming to do it. And I always feel like we'd forgotten at the last minute and then we'd have to run down and try to find some stuff. And that's how like a lot of my photography journey started, especially over here. You can see like all these wave breakers down the outside. They were like these little tunnels. I used to climb down into them and I would shoot like, I've done an entire video explaining this where I would shoot down through the tunnels. And it would be like, I used to think it was a cool arty thing. Then you realize it's where people take a piss. So, and then also everyone shoots the same photograph. But it's just weird, like if someone told me now like, that's what you have to go do. If someone's like, right, you need to go out today and go shoot photographs of patterns, and that's all that's expected of you today, I'd be like, yeah, of course, it sounds absolutely delightful. But back then I was like, oh, I gotta go shoot these stupid photos of patterns. And I don't think that ever stops in life, ever. I think as soon as you're being told to do something, it just feels like an absolute pain in the ass. Whereas now I like proactively take a camera out and come and shoot photographs of stuff. What are these 3 people doing here? Absolute state of this ND filter. I mean, what's mad is the amount of times I've photographed this place. Like, just so much over the years. And I've come down to the same area and taken the same photograph countless times. And it's always slightly different looking every time I'm here. And I kind of like that about it because it starts to get you thinking like, how do you approach these areas from a slightly different way, you know? But yeah, this week's been like, I guess a little bit of a bit more of a chill week from what I've been used to recently, but I have still been, I did a shoot there with Haptic, did that food stuff and then with Ben. So I wanted to just take today to just sort of come for a dander and a bit of an analog. I was gonna say an analog walk, but all walks are analog, are they? Unless of course you're on your phone or listen to music, but still analog technically. But I think you need to remember to take time to just chill out and relax. A bit of time to digest things, think about stuff, decompress. Isn't that the word we're all sort of using? Because we all definitely get caught up in this mad, frantic world of the interwebs and making stuff and the hustle culture and the grind and all that sort of stuff. And I think like yesterday was a pretty intense day, and I don't mind doing days like that, but I need to ensure that I do days like this that are just a little bit more relaxing. So that's kind of cool. Yesterday's shoot ended quite funnily though, because it was like 10 p.m. at night. We're in this, what the fuck is it? Industrial estate. And I came walking out, so 10 p.m. at night, I came walking out, I had the hood up. Hood was sitting over my shoulder, my shoulders and my head, where a hood goes. And I was walking out of this industrial estate area, this police car comes around the corner. What the hell, I mean, why they were there at that time, because it was a dead end area, and they come driving around and they looked at me, and I was in the zone to go to my car and leave my van. And my van was parked up the street. Police come walking around the corner and they look over at me, and I just sort of catch them out of the corner of my eye, and the 2 of them are like staring at me, like what's this guy doing in this hood? But they saw me coming out of the industrial estate. I had the backpack on. I don't know, maybe I looked a bit sketchy. And then I come walking out of there up the road, and I thought I'm just gonna mess with them because I know they have to do a U-turn and come back. So I'm just gonna walk up the road. So I carried on walking up the side on the actual physical road, and the car came cruising past, and the 2 of them, real slow, both staring at me. And I was like, they are completely trying to suss out what I'm doing. And then I got up to my van, and they'd driven off maybe 20 meters up the road. So I put the bag down next to the van, and I was like, I'm just gonna get my keys out. But I thought part of me was kind of messing around with them. I was like, I'm gonna look extra suspect here just because I found it kind of funny. So I was like bagged out on the ground, digging through it right next to the van, and I just kept checking them out in the corner of my eye. And eventually this car comes past, lights blind them, and I unlock the van, I walk around the back, and I'm behind this big lorry. So like my van's here, there's a big lorry here, and the police are parked up the street. And I'm now in the back of the van, like unloading shit, and I've turned the engine on, and it's now playing Eminem full volume. It's just auto played from the phone, and I'm in the back of the van, and then I see the tires out of the corner of my eye as the police car rolls back, right the way back up. The 2 of them are just staring at me, and I was like this in the back of the van, and I looked at them like that. And then two of them staring at me, and I walked right up to the car, pulled the hood back, and I was like, evening, how are you? And then the two of them sort of realized this guy's not a threat to anyone. I was like, what's the crack? What's happening? And they were like, just wondering what you're doing. I was like, I'm just packing things into the back of my van. And they're like, okay, why were you crouching down looking underneath the van? And I was like, well, I was looking for my keys because they were in the bag and the bag was on the ground. Right. And then I just said to them, was I looking super sketchy there? To which they both laughed and said, yes. That's exactly why we pulled you over, to stop you. The guy was being super serious about everything. Like he wasn't, he was being zero banter. The girl police officer, she was having a bit of a laugh. She knew they'd miscalculated and that I was of no threat. I don't know if that means I'm just a nice looking guy or if me being no threat is actually an insult. I can be a threat if I want. Another nice little yacht there. So anyway, I was thinking I just wanted to come down, take a few photographs and I don't know, go for a bit of a dander. I'd gone over to Coffee Roaster there for a while and just got a little takeaway cup of coffee. And but I've got this thing where my dad for years has, I guess the easiest way to say it is he's a bit of a past remarkable person. I don't know if that's the right terminology because that makes him sound like he's amazing when passing people. Past remarkable, he is remarkable. He would see stuff and then call it out, and then he's passed that on to me and my brother and my sister. So like if he's walking down the road and there's like a guy, I don't know, walking down the street in football gear, my dad will be like, hey, look at this guy's football gear, which is just a fact. It's just a guy, it is just a guy. Like if he walked past now, he'd be like, hey, look at this guy filming himself. And I'd be like, because that is actually what we're doing. I am filming myself and I don't understand why he has to freaking take notice of all of that stuff. I wonder if I can jump down here. So anyway, that's just the way he is, and he's always been like that. But he's passed that skill, using the term skill very loosely, he's passed that skill on to me. And why was I telling you that? See, this is the problem. The fucking head goes off in these rambles. And by the way, even if I'm not filming myself, I will still, this is how this walk will go. Me talking out loud to myself and thinking like an actual crazy person. So carrying the camera, actually, I don't know if I think it makes me look less crazy because there's some sort of context of what the hell is going on. But why the hell was I telling you that? My dad's a past remarkable person. I'd seen something. I actually can't even fucking remember what it is now. But I decided I would just come for a fucking walkabout. So I'm going to take a little dander down here. Coffee shop, was it? Something about, oh, there was a coffee shop. There was coffee. I had the cup of coffee in my hand and now I don't. And the reason that was funny was he said to me recently when I was on a walk, he was like, what's with people carrying coffee cups everywhere when they walk? And I was like, I don't know, they've bought coffee and now they're carrying it somewhere. And he's like, no, but just this generation now, they're just obsessed with walking around with coffee. I was like, I've never noticed, but now I can't unsee it. There's people everywhere. And all they're doing, it doesn't matter if they're walking from the coffee shop to here, to their car, anywhere. People walk about and they've got the coffee cup in their hand. And it's like we all get coffee and then we just go for a walk. And we're holding the coffee cup. And I am now obsessed with it. When I see people walking about, I'm like, look at this guy. He's got a coffee. He's out for a walk. And then I'm like, oh my God, I'm just turning into my father. And when I went there now to get this coffee from Coffee Roaster, I was like, maybe I'll just drink this. I got a takeaway. But I'd walked. I was like, man, I'll just drink this outside the coffee shop and then bend the cup. But I wanted to drink it by the sea, stare out that rib, cruising about. And I'm walking down here going, I hope no one sees me carrying this coffee cup. No one gives a fuck if I have a coffee cup. I mean, it's literally me and my dad. We're the only two people in the world who are consumed any mental space with other people walking and holding coffee cups. But here I am walking through Bangor and be like, I look like an idiot. Everyone's gonna be like, look at this guy, coffee cup in hand, out for a fucking walk Oh, we got coffee. Having a dander, are we? Fucking hell. It just turns into a prop for the video, and it was empty by the time I got down here. Walked the whole way down here. It was a flat white, and it was fucking cold anyway by the time I got it. Well, it wasn't. I drank it, and then it's cold now. It's inside me, and it's cold, but it was warm, and I drank it. You get the point. You get the point. So anyway, there you go. Welcome to my brain. This is how it operates. 24/7, constantly. Drives Pamela mad. Sometimes she tells me to go out for the walk just to get out of her hair. And I'm like, okay, fair enough. So anyway, that's where we're fucking at here. We've got that bit done. But I think it's important, so I have to do this because this hat's a mesh hat and my little bald head is getting very cold. I used to have hair. I used to keep my head warm. And I used to hear bald people say, your head gets really cold. And I never really got it. And then one day, you know, I made the life decision to ungrow my hair from my head. Just thought, don't think I need it anymore. I've had a good time with my hair, so I'll ungrow it. And now I have to have a hood up. But yeah, I think taking time to just, I don't know, walk about away from everybody and think about stuff. Because there's so much shit going on. Every time I'm doing something, like yesterday's shoot was pretty mad and intense. And it's fun, and I do like it. But the problem with it is, if you do too much of that for too long, your brain doesn't get that opportunity to like decompress and like assess the things that you've done. So, for example, we use a lot of AI stuff now in some of the scripting we're doing or video planning or things like that. And we've been using this piece of technology called, I keep calling it Plod, P-L-O-D, but it's not, it's Plod, P-L-A-U-D. And it analyzes meetings. So it like listens, writes, does a transcript, and it builds like a plan of action after the meeting, which is great, very useful. But it gives you the plan of action immediately after you finish the meeting. And it's like, there's no time for you to think of, now I'm saying that it doesn't really affect me too much because I'm not immediately jumping into that stuff. But it's just this idea that we need the urgency. You know, hey, we've had that meeting, let's have a little robot that takes notes and then builds a plan of action for that. And then we can just, as we fucking stop the meeting, we can just start putting shit into action. And I'm like, that theoretically sounds great, but at what point do we just stop for a second and think about what the fuck we're doing? At what point do we like, oh, that guy there, he's having a rough day. At what point do we, take that little moment to think about it? Anyone down here? Quite like this beach. I'll show you what I like about it here. They've also done a little bit of painting, which is quite nice. So this beach here. Oh, someone must be just left their cozy mat there, or this place. Always like this shot. There's a photograph from the corner here. It looks down. I'll show you the angle. Looks down over the over here. I haven't got a wide lens of me. Or do I? I don't know. Is someone there? Am I losing my mind? Is someone going for a swim? But this shot is the one I'm talking about. Nice wide angle lens. Boom, 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 boom. Long exposure shot when there's a lot of water moving in. Get it? Could be quite delightful. I want to go down and take a shot on the pier bit, so I'll leave you here for 2 seconds. If you guys just be patient with me. Someone is definitely in the water here because they're all their stuff's here, but I'm assuming they've gone for a swim. Fair play to them. Like, they've obviously gone for a fully committed swim. But yeah, if you shoot this whole bit here, when the water comes in, it's nice and rough and there's a lot of water movement, you'll get like real nice long exposure stuff. Over all this here, I just always like coming and shooting photographs here. And it's so still today. This is a classic example of the leading lines, because you've got this you can't see it because you're 700,000 miles away, but there's a little red rope. Can you see the red rope? And it leads down to the little blue rail, which then goes down to the little white hand rail, and then you're into the ocean. Delightful. Absolutely delightful. Oh my God, it's so slippery. It's so slippery. It's very slippery. It is very slippery. Like this is, so when I think back to like how all my photography started, like doing this stuff, because I didn't really get into taking photos for any reason outside of bike riding. You know, I quite liked riding bikes, but to be brutally honest with you, I wasn't that good at riding BMX. I could do some tricks, but I quite liked documenting what everyone was doing, taking photographs, shooting videos, and that's kind of what got me into the side of it. And I did that for years. And that's in the site, I've worked in the cycle trade doing that as well. And where am I going to go? I'm going to go over to these stones here. So I got into the cycle trade doing that. And it was always bike photography, like for as long as I could think. But then when I started working in Belfast, and I got into the street photography scene, you know? What can I say? Quite a cool scene. And I would say that there'll also be early influencer days when all that stuff was kicking off. Instagram was coming out of the square photos of your food with like some shitty, weird textured backdrop thing on it. And what is odd is like, there was no like intention to shoot anything other than that stuff on Instagram, because it was all really social media. And it was like the start of, I guess, what we now know as content creation. And shooting photographs at those early days was quite fun, and I'd started like a new Instagram page, and that kind of started that little journey of me, you know, shooting photographs like that. And I remember back in tech and college and uni shooting photos, and I was told to go do these things, and I was just like, when I think back to it being a chore, I was like, well, there's no relevance to me shooting that sort of stuff. Like, I don't see the point, because I only shoot bike stuff. So why the fuck do I care if I want to shoot photographs of some fucking bits of metal, or like the handrail, or some steps, or a pattern, or whatever the fuck that is. So that didn't really make any sense to me. This is the pier we were standing on, by the way. We were right the way over there on the edge. Weirdly, I've seen that flipping lighthouse as well, like a million times. I never really thought, this is where I wish I had a slightly longer lens with me. That would have been a bit more fucking useful, wouldn't it? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. This needs to come off. I used to take, fucking angle is this still? Oh, stupid angle is that? I used to take camera out with me when we went on these like bike trips and shoot loads of photographs. And what I actually ended up doing, like I was subconsciously looking for those patterns anyway. Like I was finding those little nuances of life that I now actually find really quite fascinating. And when I think back to being forced to do that, I feel like I didn't love photography the same way. I liked the process of photography, and I liked learning about film development and photo development, because I liked doing that sort of stuff as well, the actual technical process of doing it. But I didn't. That's a big skimming stone. Oh, I could skim that bitch. Not bad. Good bounce. Solid bounce. Solid skimmer. But I used to shoot that stuff then and not really enjoy it. And then when I got into the photo scene in Belfast and shooting street photography, that became this entire thing that I started to enjoy doing. What's weird is that's developed over time. I took the human element out of it, but the human element is the bit that I really like, taking photographs of people in those environments. But I have grown quite attached to scenery, landscape, city, photography, coastlines, and things like that. And I do find that like sometimes one of the nicest things to do is just pick up the camera with no plan and just go for a walk and take photographs. It sounds so simple, it sounds so silly, but it's a bit like I guess you could call it a meditation if you wanted, you know? Do you know what I mean? And I don't really do it enough anymore. I think life's got quite busy for me, and I've fallen out of that routine. I used to work in the city center, which made life really, really easy to do that because I was always in that environment. So I could do these little small pockets of time at lunchtime or before or after work for 45 minutes and just go for a day. And especially I was walking to and from trains and things like that. Whereas now I feel like I need to proactively like make that decision. So I get very excited when I see skimming stones. And then I'm always at that thing where I'm like, do I want to go for one big bounce? Like, are you like hard in, big bounce, or are you like low and like loads? We'll try go low and loads. I mean, that was you're gonna have to take my word for it. It's just a little bit of everything all the time right there. So anyway, that's just been a fucking train of thought from my brain into yours now. So either you've sat there and gone, that was good crack, Dill. Cheers. You know, or you've gone, that was a long shit. Like, I can't believe I'm still sitting watching you here and my legs have gone numb and I've got elbow marks over there from just crouching down, but here, you know, we're just out here sharing content with everybody. So you all go have a good day, enjoy yourselves. I'm gonna skim this rectangle and then go back taking some more photographs. Kobe! Only 2. Sorry, it's poor finish. Don't want to let you down like that. We've got to do a better one than that. It was a terrible, terrible one. Where's our last stone? Give me one good stone. Give me one good stone. I like skimming big stones, you know, because they're difficult. There's a level of, over that way. Oh, solid finish. Solid finish. Cheers. Cheers for watching. Catch you in the next episode. Huh? How weird was that?
I can't film.
You choosing some weird walking angles was hilarious. At one point you were walking like this, and I'm like, you just need to just walk. Like, you were walking at such an odd angle. I was like, this is hilarious. Yeah, it can be a bit of a cunt. Oh, jitter. We jitterbugs and stuff?
Jitterbugs.
In case you're like, how the fuck did he do that? I enlisted the complete special needs of my sister. You know? I just do it for charity. I take her out once a week for a little play with a camera, you know? She'll get back and they'll get her fed tonight.